Hi folks, how you doing? It's James JT at the movies, and I'm back today for another ranking video. Now it's not a top 10 this time because I couldn't narrow it down to just 10 entries. This is my top 20 favourite actors of all time, and like I say, I couldn't narrow it down. This could have easily been a top 50 list, a top 100 list, and when I went through these, looking at the collection here and obviously behind me, and I had a look at it with Laura as well, going through IMDb, I just couldn't narrow it down, and I thought, do I do you two sort of top 10s, like a 20 through to 11 and then a 10 through to 1, and I thought, no, you're going to get a mammoth video where I do the whole lot. So of course this is just my subjective list, and it's not a definitive list at all. Of course everybody else will have different opinions. There'll be some on here we probably agree on, and then there'll be others that we don't, and I'd be really interested to hear yours as well, so do get involved in the comments down below. The way that I've sort of decided to sort of judge this and sort of guarantee them a spot on my list is, if I see that actor is advertised to be in a film or maybe even a TV show as well, is the name alone going to sell me on watching it? So, like I could say, for argument's sake, I don't know, pick somebody who's an honourable mention. Maybe like Jackie Chan is an honourable mention. He didn't quite make the cut. But for me, if I see Jackie Chan advertised to be in something, I'm going to watch it. And that was sort of the criteria I went with. So let's dive into the list now. So in at number 20, we have Robert Downey Jr. So Robert Downey Jr. obviously had a bit of a rough patch in the late 90s and the early 2000s, but around the mid 2000s he secured an absolutely fantastic comeback and has become a real heavyweight in Hollywood with films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the Iron Man and Marvel series, of course, Sherlock Holmes, Tropic Thunder. He's done the recent Dr. Dolittle film. He's really just secured his place as an absolute heavyweight, and again, if I see him in anything, I'll watch it now. He's one of my favourite actors. In at number 19, we have an absolute heavyweight from probably more the 80s and the 90s than now, but he still appears in things. My favourite films for this actor are The Fly and the Jurassic Park series. He appeared in the first, the second, and the recent fifth. He's also going to be in the sixth, the series finale. Even that's Jeff Goldblum. The next one is one of my favourite comedic actors of all time. It's Jim Carrey. He blew up, of course, in the 1990s. With hits such as Ace Ventura, The Mask, Batman Forever, Liar Liar, but he's also been able to make more serious films like The Number 23 as well, and I just think that the guy is a really, really great actor. I know that for a lot of people he's a sort of a take or leave character, but absolutely his involvement in something will guarantee that I'll at least give it a watch. Another comedy heavyweight now coming in at number 17. We've got the absolutely fantastic Bill Murray. What more do I need to say? Ghostbusters, Groundhog Day, Caddyshack. It's just, the list is endless. He's absolutely fantastic, and whenever he appears in anything, he always makes it just that little bit better. Number 16. Well, this guy will be mad that he's not number 1, but unfortunately he'll have to deal with it. It's Joe Pesci. What an absolute heavyweight this guy is. Casino, Goodfellas, even things like the Home Alone movies and the Lethal Weapon movies. Whenever he's on screen, he steals the scene. He's just absolutely fantastic. In at number 15, we have an absolutely fantastic action star, again capable of doing a lot more than that, and does showcase his range in dramas and comedies from time to time, and it's Liam Neeson. I really, really like the sort of direction that he's taken in his later years with the almost made a bit of a pun there, didn't I, Taken? But with movies like Taken, and he's done Unknown and Non-Stop and Honest Thief. I like those sort of really sort of straightforward action movies that he's done, but I also obviously think Schindler's List is a fantastic film as well, and things like Love Actually as well are really great as well. The next one is another heavyweight of the sort of the 60s, 70s and 80s, and also into the 90s a little bit, I suppose, as well, and it's Gene Hackman. I absolutely love him in things like Superman. He was in Class Action, Runaway Jury. He was in a great film with Morgan Freeman where it's just the two of them talking about a case, because they're both involved in the police force, and it's just the two of them on screen for 2 hours talking about this case, and it's absolutely gripping. The guy is a fantastic actor. In at number 13, we have Will Smith. Welcome to Earth. The guy is just an absolutely fantastic action star of the 90s and early 2000s, but he really has got some brilliant acting chops and has been able to showcase it in, sort of more dramatic and emotional roles as well. He's just a really all-rounded, talented bloke, and he seems to be a really decent bloke as well. In at number 12, I could do a really awful impression for you, but I'm going to save us both the embarrassment. It's Mr. Michael Kane. This guy, I will watch absolutely anything that he's in, including Jaws 4. I absolutely really love Michael Kane in anything. I love the 60s stuff, the Italian Job, Sleuth, Get Carter, Zulu. But then, the later stuff in the 80s, Dressed to Kill, the aforementioned Jaws 4, and then the Batman movies, and his work that he's done with Christopher Nolan and other recent filmmakers as well. I think he's absolutely fantastic. In at number 11, again, I could do an awful impression if I really wanted to subject you to something horrible, but I'm not going to do it. It's Morgan Freeman. Now, Morgan Freeman is just an absolutely fantastic actor with films like The Shawshank Redemption coming to mind, and even recent films like the Has Fallen trilogy where he's playing the Vice President and the President, the Batman movies again where he plays Lucius Fox opposite Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne. The guy is just an absolute heavyweight actor, and he's absolutely fantastic. We've made it to the top 10, folks. So in at number 10 is one of my favourite actors of all time. They all are, really, aren't they? I suppose that's the point of this list. But yeah, in at number 10 is Bill Paxton. He passed away a few years ago, and it's an absolute shame. I remember hearing that news and being absolutely gutted. But the guy, he's the only person to be killed by an alien, a Terminator, and a Predator. He's absolutely fantastic. He's in Twister, he's in Frailty. One of his last films that he ever made was the fantastic Nightcrawler, where he's opposite Jake Gyllenhaal. I would really recommend watching that if you haven't seen it. The guy is just an absolute heavyweight, and again seemed like a really genuine bloke whenever you saw him interviewed or on behind the scenes footage. Number 9, it's an absolute British national treasure is this bloke, and it's Simon Pegg. I love anything that Simon Pegg's in. I just think that he's absolutely fantastic. And, his appearances in things like the Cornetto trilogy, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The World's End are hilarious. The same with Paul. His sort of comedic sidekick role in the later Mission Impossible movies, playing Benji Dunn, is absolutely fantastic. His team up with Monty Python in Absolutely Anything was great as well. And he's also done some fantastic movies with the likes of David Schwimmer as well. And the Star Trek movies, who can forget them? He's just a brilliantly talented all-rounder and just seems to be a really, really great dude. Next up, we have Denzel Washington. He's absolutely fantastic again. There seems to be a recurring theme here. This seems to be all I can say for people, doesn't it? But I really, truly love all of these actors and their work. And like I say, whenever I see them advertised in something, I'll go and watch it, or I'll pick the DVD up. A lot of the times when I get these curiosity buys that you see me picking up in the monthly updates, a lot of the time it's because people like this have appeared in them, and I've gone, well, if they're in it, it must be all right, or at least it's worth me checking out, sort of thing. But Denzel Washington, my favourite film of his is Training Day, but you've got things like John Q, and then there's like American Gangster, and just so many films. The Equalizer, Deja Vu, Pelham 123 remake I quite enjoyed. I know that's quite divisive, but I just really like him, and again, he's got such a presence when he's on screen and can lend his talent to so many different types of roles. He's never really typecast, and I just really, really enjoy anything that the guy's in. In at number 7, all right. Again, I'm not one for impressions, really. Well, I'm going to let you know a little secret. I do terrible impressions off camera, but I know that they're terrible, so I'm not going to subject you to them. But it's Matthew McConaughey. I absolutely love this guy whenever he turns up in anything. Sahara, his brief cameo in Wolf of Wall Street is one of the most memorable moments of an already fantastic 3-hour film. He's great in things like Fool's Gold, and again, I mentioned Frailty with Bill Paxton. He's in that as well, and that's absolutely great as well. There's just so many great films to mention with that guy, but he's absolutely top-notch in all of them. Number 6, it's Tom Cruise. Now, for the longest time, I sort of couldn't get on with Tom Cruise when I was growing up, and then I don't know what happened. Somewhere in my 20s, I just sort of started to really enjoy the Mission Impossible movies, and then I started sort of digging deeper into his back catalogue and things like A Few Good Men, and obviously Top Gun, Days of Thunder, Colour of Money, and then you just start to see that there's real wealth of really, really great films, and actually he's a really great action star. Again, he can do the more serious stuff, like things like Rain Man show that he's actually got that sort of capability to do something a bit more serious and a bit more dramatic. And then his recent efforts are great as well. The Mission Impossible films continue to go from strength to strength, which is almost unheard of really in a big blockbuster action movie. It's rare that you get sequels that surpass the originals. He did the fantastic sci-fi film Edge of Tomorrow recently with Emily Blunt. I'm saying recently, it's probably about 10-year old now, is that? But anyway, yeah, absolutely, really, really have grown to love Tom Cruise's films, and when I think about it now, he is actually one of my favourite actors of all time. We made it to the top 5, folks, and again, this is another really versatile actor who can do some absolutely fantastic comedy, can do the serious dramatic stuff, but can also play some really sinister characters and lend the talents to it quite well. And it's the late Robin Williams. I'm not ashamed to say I cried when I found out that Robin Williams died. He's one of my favourite actors, always has been. Growing up with films like Hook, made me aware of him and seeing his comedies, but then also seeing things like Dead Poets Society and then things like Insomnia and 1 Hour Photo really introduced me to the fact that actually this guy is a really, really talented actor. And of course, who can forget Good Will Hunting as well? Just an absolutely fantastic actor and a talent that is sorely missed by not just me but millions of people across the globe. In at number 4, I'm going to get shot for this. Remember guys, I said at the start, this is a subjective list, I promise. And it's Nicolas Cage. Okay, you can stop booing, throwing things at the screen. I absolutely love Nick Cage's movies. I love the good, the bad and the ugly of Nick Cage. When he's on form, he's brilliant, and he really brings some great performances to the screen. Red Rock West, Leaving Las Vegas, even things like Con Air stand out, and The Rock as well. But even some of the more terrible ones are absolutely fantastic as well for a really great laugh. He's got a bit more experimental in what he'll do in recent years, with things like Willy's Wonderland and Mandy being some ones that stand out. But even some of the direct-to-video ones like Dying of the Light are great. And then, of course, he'll do the family fun ones as well, like National Treasure. There's some really great films in his filmography that I'd recommend checking out, and don't tar him with just the brush that he's a terrible actor, because he's made a few interesting career choices. Speaking of the good, the bad and the ugly, in at number 3 we have the Hollywood badass, the legend that is Mr. Clint Eastwood. This guy really is the true definition of an all-round talent. He's an actor, a producer, a musician, a director, a writer, and quite often he plays all of those roles in all of his films. You know, he can write the thing, direct it, do the score for it, produce it, finance it, and then be the lead in it as well. I absolutely adore things like Dirty Harry, Unforgiven, Mystic River, so many films to mention. Obviously the Spaghetti Western Dollars trilogy that we just mentioned there as well. Escape from Alcatraz. I could be here all day listing off the guy's filmography, because there's really practically nothing in there that's poor. I just think he's an absolutely fantastic actor. In at number 2, again a purely subjective choice, because if we were to look at this objectively, the guy's probably not as talented as some of the people sort of higher up on this list, or people that I've not even mentioned at all. But I just get such a sense of joy watching this actor's films. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnie is absolutely fantastic. I mean, Total Recall, Terminator 2, Last Action Hero, Commando, Predator. I don't need to say more. The guy is an absolute heavyweight. I even like some of the films that he's come back with after his tenure in politics in the early 2000s. He came back with films like The Last Stand and Sabotage, both of which I thought were quite good. I even quite enjoyed Terminator Dark Fate and thought that that was quite a good threequel to the Terminator franchise, if ever we were, going to get a third film in that continuity, as it were. I really, really like Arnie's films, and I'm excited to see what he does next. Again, just like all of these actors on this list, he is a really big draw, and if I see his name involved in something, I'll go and give it a watch. So folks, drum roll please. My number one actor, who else could it be? None other than the legend that is Tommy Wiseau. This guy's talent is immense. The amount of work and sort of vision that he brought to his absolute masterpiece, The Room, is just absolutely phenomenal. And there's no wonder that that film is going to go down in history as one of the best films of all time. Of course, I'm talking out of my arse. If you know me, you know that my number one choice is actually Harrison Ford. He is my favourite actor of all time. That guy's name appears on a poster or on a cast list somewhere. You can bet day one that I am going to be there to either buy the DVD or go see it in the theatre. He's Indiana Jones, he's Han Solo, he's President Marshall, he's Jack Ryan. He's just absolutely fantastic in everything that he's in. Again, he's quite a versatile actor. Probably not as versatile as some of the other actors that I've mentioned on this list, but he can do it. He's played the bad guy from time to time. He's played more dramatic roles in films like maybe The Mosquito Coast and things like that. Also Random Hearts as well. He's done more comedic roles as well, things like 6 Days, 7 Nights, and even sort of bits of Indiana Jones spring to mind as well. But he's just an absolutely great charismatic action star, and I love everything that the guy's been in. So there we are, folks. That's been my top 20 favourite actors of all time. I absolutely love pretty much everything that all of these blokes have been in and really enjoy their work. You're going to have to let me know down below, like I said earlier, what are your favourite actors? Let me know if you want to do a full list of 20. That's great. I'd love to read through them. If not, let me know a few and we can have a natter about them. Are there any we agree on? Are there any that we disagree on? Let's get involved in those comments down below. If you've liked this video and you'd like to see more videos where I make ranking lists, where I do film reviews, DVD, Blu-ray and 4K updates, and where I talk about this massive film collection that you see around me here, then please think about subscribing to my channel, because that's what I'm all about. And if you do subscribe, make sure you ring the notification bell, and then that way you're the first person to be notified whenever I do post a video. Don't forget to drop the video a like as well. Please take care of yourselves, folks. Thank you so much for watching. The next video in this series will be my top 20 favourite actresses of all time, and I'm really looking forward to bringing that list to you soon. In fact, I'm going to shoot it right after this. But take care of yourselves, folks, and I will see you again real soon. Bye for now.